climbed up the sentry tower to watch the sunrise over the Tora Bora Mountains. Compared to last night's violence, the Afghan countryside was a peaceful salve. I heard someone behind me and turned. Baran, our Afghan cook, stood there with his hat in his hand and his eyes full of tears. He needed to take leave. He needed to go to his brother's funeral. I said I was sorry for his loss, asked what happened. His brother was killed last night, he said. He'd been killed by coalition forces. Hit me like a ton of bricks. Baran's brother was one of the insurgents I'd had killed last night. But Baran didn't know I was the one who'd ordered the shot. Not yet, anyway. It was only a matter of time before he figured it out, and I didn't know what Baran would do when he did. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I should start from the beginning. You wake up every morning and you say, God damn, we're here. Like sheriffs in the Wild West, pushing the frontier. It's barren rocks and foreign sounds, all else can disappear. We're out here on the edge, out here on the edge, out here on the edge of the world. The young are in command here like baby commissars. And my commander's back in Kabul, might as well be Mars. I'm running with the freedom given, shooting for the stars. Out here on the edge, out here on the edge, out here on the edge of the world. And I am gonna ride down this road, and I don't have or need a guide except my code. Trained and worked to reach this day, I'll show my stuff, I know the way. And then the bombs explode. That's when you remember the war has only grown. This base you're on is not your world. At best, it's yours on loan. Freedom's great, but when the chips are down, you're on your own. I'm out here on the edge, out here on the edge, out here on the edge of the... Yeah, it was everything I'd wanted, everything they promised me. I was doing my part, and I didn't feel like a pretender anymore. Getting shot at will do the trick. Every day could be a dance with rocket-propelled grenades, improvised explosive devices, or small arms fire. We turned those into acronyms long ago. RPGs, IEDs, and SAF, an alphabet soup of ways to die. But I just traded the old guilt for new. What if something happened to the guys I was leading? What if something happened to the Afghans I was training? And what would happen when we left? We were just deployed here, but we were on the clock with the ticket home before we left the States. But this was where the Afghans lived. And when we were gone and it was just them and the Taliban, what then? The bad guys were ghosts. They'd shoot and scoot, firing rockets at night and vanishing before we could get eyes on them. They'd bury mines in the road when we weren't around, and we never catch them in the act. From what we could actually see, IEDs just grew in Afghanistan like weeds. You know what can drive you crazy? Having people try to kill you and not being able to fight back. But one night, we finally did. Caught these guys red-handed and had a chance to hit back. 4 military-aged males burying a wired arty shell in the middle of the road about a click away from our position. We had hostile intent, hostile action, and positive ID. Everything to satisfy the rules of engagement. We already had Apaches nearby, so we called for close air support and used helos to wipe those guys off the map. It didn't feel good, but it felt right. We knew it would put a check on the bad guys, and it was a collective sigh of relief in my platoon. We weren't just a punching bag after all, waiting for the bad guys to get lucky and plug one of us. We got them first. Maybe they'd hesitate before they took their next shot at us. Maybe they'd go find someone else to shoot at instead. But that feeling quickly faded as I stood face to face with Baran that next morning. He had become a friend, our faithful cook, preparing meals every day. He told me his brother was one of the men who'd been killed last night. He just hadn't figured out that we were the ones who made it happen. Not yet. He is a picture of grief, and he is all innocent disbelief. He can't imagine that I gave the order to kill, but he will. He earned a place as a friend, but he has his honor he must defend. When he discovers the truth, then which way will he go? I don't know. And it all comes down to him. It all comes down to his choice of road. The load isn't small, he only can lose, but he has to choose. No time to stop or stall before it all comes down. If I should tell him he's fired, and if his allegiance is not required, isn't that pushing him into the arms of the foe? Will he blow? But if I should welcome him back, and if I should trust that he won't attack, don't I expose our defenses and give them away? We could pay, and it all comes down to me. It all comes down to being cautious or bold. I'm holding the ball, I only can lose, but I have to choose. I have to make this call before it all comes down. But if there's no way to be wise, I have to see what's in front of my eyes. The one thing I do know undoubtedly true is he isn't one of my guys, and it all comes down to this. It all comes down. We die or we live from giving our all. I'm lighting a fuse, but how can I choose something else with our backs to the wall? I have to protect or we fall, and it all comes down. I told Baran to go to the funeral, and I told him to pack his things, because he wasn't allowed back on the outpost. We fired him and logged it into the network, noting his brother's connection to the Taliban. Any other coalition outpost would know not to hire him. I couldn't just pass the risk onto someone else, so I locked Baran out of the inflated economy we'd created with jobs supporting coalition forces. I damned him to poverty. After we left, we kept in touch with the Afghan troops we trained there. They told us they did see Baran again, with the Taliban, hijacking a fuel truck. He was on their team now, and I can't stop wondering if I was the reason why. And that's when I keep thinking, up to this very day, was I the cause of his decision, or was I in the way? And was I right to choose what I did, value our lives over their lives, when we will rotate home in 9 months, and they will have to stay out here on the edge, out here on the edge, out here on the edge of the war, of the void, of the world.